Hello, hello, viewers. Good morning. Find yourself. Welcome again to another edition of the program, The Hot Seat. As we all know, in this program, we analyze, we question, and we try to sort out some of the worries of Amazonians. On this program today, we are going to have calls. You guys will be able to call in to ask your question to Comrade Brado. The first segment of this program tonight will be me and Comrade Brado, and then the second segment will be you guys calling in to ask your own questions to Comrade Brado. As you all know, I am your host, Comrade Don Pacho, and with me is the Secretary of Finance of the interim government. We all know him. He has been one of the finest that Amazonian has had with their finances. He is none other than Comrade Tabeyang. Comrade Tabeyang, you are welcome to this program, The Hot Seat.
Thank you, Comrade Don Pacho. I am very humbled to be here with your viewers today. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Comrade Brado. Before we get into the crux of the matter, I would like us to cross-examine this. Comrade Brado, you have been the only financial secretary from the time of Skakuf, shortly after the Skapak scandal, and right up to the Sarkozy government. Are we correct to say that when you took over the financial transfer from the former financial secretary, Amos Suna, with all financial records, balanced throughout this period, that is a span of 4 years, we have not heard of a treasurer? Did you have one, or you also doubled as the treasurer of the interim government and the SCACUF?
No, Don Pacho, I think you need to correct the records. I was appointed the Secretary of State for Economy and Finance on November 22nd, 2017. So Brado was never part of SCAPAC. Brado was never part of SCACUF. So my tenure as the Secretary of State for Economy and Finance began on November 22nd when His Excellency President Sisi Kwayo Tabe formed the interim government. So my tenure began from that time. Now, before I got into that position, there was already a structure that was set up after the SCAPAC scandal. Within that structure, you had Dr. Festus Ndei, Ms. Elena Kunji, Comrade Yembe, and Willie Achua from Atlanta. So there were 4 of them who were actually running the finances of the then governing council. Within that structure, Dr. Elena Kunji was the treasurer. So when I came in, I did not change any of them. I continued with them because I strongly believe that there was a need for continuity to make sure that we don't just get in and then just turn everything upside down. So there was a treasurer already in place within the setup that they had. And when we came, I realized that that treasurer was good enough. We continued working with them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Comrade Brado. There is another worry about finances in this revolution. When you took over, there was this issue of, there was this contribution going on, which we call the citizens' levy, that many Amazonians many Amazonians signed in with their credit cards and they were contributing monthly. Can you explain to Amazonians after the adoption of President Tabeyang or before the adoption of President Tabeyang, how was that money being used by the interim government?
I think we should be mindful, like I indicated, that I came in with Seseku. We were just there. Seseku was there for 7 weeks as the interim president. And before I came in, there was already a structure that was managing those resources. So when I came in from November the 22nd, the then treasury that was headed by Dr. Festus Nde was the one responsible for managing those accounts. So the citizenship levy was coming through PayPal and Braintree, and I allowed them to maintain control over the flow of those funds through Braintree and PayPal. Until the time I left, it was still Dr. Elena Konji who was managing those accounts.
So, as Secretary of Economy and Finance, can we say that, can we conclude that you were not able to go into your department to look into the activities of your department to know how the fundings of various departments, how the monies that were coming in were being used?
Can you take that question again?
I'm saying that, can we then conclude from your explanation that you allowed 2 people to continue working in that department? Can we say it was incompetence of you allowing people not going there to supervise to see how the funds were being used?
No, that is not accurate. I don't think that I allowed people to supervise or run the management of the account without my authority. I supervised everything that was going on, and that is why I had said from the beginning that whatever resources came through PayPal, Braintree, and the bank accounts, I would be able to give accountability to the last dollar. So that is what I've indicated severally, and I still maintain that position. All of those records are available until when Richard Tangu connived with Sako to change the password to Braintree and PayPal. That's when I had my access to the account was no longer available. But from when I took over till the time that the president reconstituted the cabinet, I have absolute control over what was happening, and I can detail exactly what each and every dollar that went out from the coffers of the interim government.
Okay, good. You have come now to call Mr. Richard Tangu and ex-acting president Sako Ekome. You have quoted the 2 of them of changing passwords. I will come now to add this question to that, because we hear Sako through Pastor Tata Johnson changed the bank address and diverted funds from Canada to the Amazonian consulting account, for which he had a debit card. How was that money spent? What was the reason of the cabinet when it was discovered? What was the reaction of the cabinet when it was discovered?
I think the issue with Dr. Tata was not money from Canada. That money was from New Orleans. I flew into New Orleans during a fundraiser. And after the fundraiser, it took some time for the folks in New Orleans to send that amount of money to the interim government. The amount was $6,500. And I think somehow one of the individuals in New Orleans had contact with Dr. Sako. And then when he said they wanted to send money, I think they ended up giving the address to Dr. Sako for that money to be mailed in to them. Fortunately, there was an individual in New Orleans who had actually planned the fundraiser, and he wanted the money go into the government coffers. So I was notified that apparently they wanted to send the money, and this is the address that was submitted to them. So I said, no, let that not happen. So it was a very, very tough argument back and forth. They ended up mailing the check to Sako, but I made sure that that check was deposited into the bank account. So any money that got into any of those bank accounts, irrespective of where it came from, I can assure the Ambazonian people that I know exactly where the money came from. I know how the money left those accounts and who that money was sent to. That I can assure Ambazonians that the records are still there.
Okay, if you can assure Ambazonians that the records are still there, why is it that when these issues were happening, you did not go to the House of Country and Regional Representatives or the Restoration Council that stood as the parliament of this revolution to explain to them that there is a problem? Why did you not do that, and you were trying to fight a battle with your boss, the ex-acting president at that time, Samuel Ekome?
I think Ambazonians have to understand what we have come to witness within the revolution is a lot of opinions, and those opinions are bereft of any facts. And people have to understand that when you come into a position, if you are within an institution, there are terms of reference that are guiding you within that position. The position of the secretary is accountable to the president and not to the cabinet, not to the parliament. So whatever is being done is done at the mercy of the president. That is what is in the terms of reference. I think that document was sent to you so that you should put it out for people to see. That decision could not be made by me. And a lot of this, we sit back now and look at what happened. We have to understand that we have to contextualize what was happening at that time. Was it appropriate for you to come out in the middle of a major fundraiser and say, hey, this is what is going on, and kill the momentum or try to manage it? I saw the advantage of trying to manage it. And given the fact that if I had not managed it well, if I had gotten angry or put it out, and I think you can see the way they demonize people right now, I would have been demonized. None of you would have even believed that whatever Brado is saying was true, because a lot of people had believed in Sako at that time. So you had to be very astute to understand how to manage the system. And I was very, very critical in making sure that the leaders, whatever was going to be done to make sure that we either secure their release or know where they are, me sitting at that position was very central. So that decision was made to try to manage those issues internally, instead of going out there and either maybe engaging in something that could either sink the revolution. It would have been all over the place now. Oh, Brado did not allow the money to come in. Brado came in and tell all of these lies and stuff like that. So I think that it was the right decision, because I sat in there and actually monitored what was going on. And I can give Ambazonians my word that whatever happened, whatever transition in that cabinet from the time I took over, I have the records. And we would hold people accountable. Whether they can tell lies, they go up, or they can tell lies and come back down, the records would not change.
Okay, Comrade Brado, there is also this issue, because Ambazonians are always asking this question. They always ask, like I have a question here from somebody who asked me to ask you that. Why is it that when you discover that Sako was using his own debit or credit card to withdraw monies illegally, to do things, to buy stores for his house, to eat in restaurants, why didn't you raise an alarm for the people to know that there is mismanagement going on?
I agree. I think that is a good question to ask now. But as I said, you have to contextualize these questions at the time. Let's not forget that we had just gotten into a situation where the leaders have been abducted. Everything was upside down. My primary responsibility when I got in there was to try to put a structure in place. And I began having a lot of resistance into putting a structure in place. But yet, I still managed to put in the terms and references of the financial policies and procedures that guides the way money was being managed within the government. In there, the president has no authority to use money without even the notification of the Secretary of State for Finance. And I had this issue, raised this issue in cabinet. One of the then ethics committee vice chairperson, Dr. Patience Abiedu, came in and objected that I should not be in a position to control what the president was doing. So you can see that there was a lot of resistance. There was so many arguments in there, not that these things were not raised. I even challenged the president that you cannot go ahead and begin to spend money without even consulting with me. And that is the reason why I refused that I was not going to record his spending until he gives an account of those spending. And every dime that is spent, Brado did not approve a single dollar because those expenditures did not come through Brado. And then secondly, I raised the issue with Kometa because knowing that as the chair of the Restoration Council, Kometa could bring him to order. I also raised the issue with his personal assistant, Mr. Sebastian Bareku. I told them that they could not continue to do the reckless spending that they're doing at the presidency. It is wrong, to the point where we got so angry, Sebastian actually destroyed the debit card that he was using. And once the money in the consulting account was finished, we stopped putting money in the consulting account.
Yeah, there is this question also that why did you not inform the cabinet that Sako was swindling funds, but instead went to Elvis Kometa and Sebastian Barekul for help? Was that a personal matter?
No, first of all, Sebastian is not personal. Sebastian is the assistant to the president. He is the person who was responsible in moving funds to the president. Elvis Kometa is the chair of the Restoration Council. And by the structure of the interim government, the Restoration Council has a say. I expected the Restoration Council to summon me to address these issues. Because like I said, from the terms and reference, the cabinet, the secretary is not answerable to the cabinet. The secretary is not supposed to respond to the cabinet, but to the president.
Okay, then this question now will come up. Were you or were you not supposed to give quarterly financial reports to the cabinet? Did you make those reports available? And if so, did it reflect the reckless expenditures of Sako?
Okay, I think that is a question that really needs people to understand. Like I pointed from the beginning, the secretary is accountable to the president, not to the cabinet. The statements were available. I think Comrade Daphne could attest to that I actually provided him statements to go to The Hague when we were trying to file in with the UNPO or something like that, the represented people's organization, something like that. They needed financial statements which were provided to him. Now, you have to understand that the only way you're going to release financial statements to the cabinet is if the president or the acting president authorizes you to release those statements. And Sako refused to authorize the release of those statements. Even in the cabinet, I asked the ethics committee, please have him authorize the release of the financial statements, and that would be released. Besides, those statements were not even completed because he had not provided his own expenditures. Remember, I indicated earlier that I told him, you would have to give me your expenditures to complete the statements. If you do not give me the expenditures, as a professional, I'm not going to put out statements that are incomplete to the public. That would be misleading the public. So that is what happened. And even when we met between myself, him, and President Seseku, he told the president that we cannot release the statements because he felt that there were moles in the cabinet. If we put out those statements in the cabinet, the most were going to send those statements out. And I can tell you, one of them that he was so afraid of was Chemleo, the former Secretary of Education. Back then, Chemleo was pushing a lot of A-Gov-C materials into the cabinet, to the point where Secretary Chris got so angry that if Chemlio doesn't stop forwarding those statements, he would leave the cabinet. I think he left for once. But that is the situation. And if you go back and realize that even after the Washington, D.C. conference, the final report that was put together by Chemlio, that report was never made public because Sako took the responsibility that he alone has the authority to authorize any material that is leaving out of the government. And that is the problem, that the way the government was structured, I found that as a flaw, that there is no other way that except you're going to go rogue and then put the information out and then bear the consequences. But if you're not going to go rogue, then you have, if you're working within an institution, you have to work within the confines of the rules that guide that institution. So that is exactly the way I operated. And I asked multiple times, please authorize the release of these statements. And that was never done.
Okay, I want to ask you this very pertinent question at this beginning, because as we are going deeper, there are many things that you are going to reveal to Ambazonians. I want to ask you this question. It's a very straightforward question. Was it President Sisiku Tabeyang or Sako Ekome who created the account, the bank account called the President's Corner?
No, when Sisiku was there was no President's Corner account. Let me tell you how the President Corner account came about. Initially, before they started my trip to Boya, they had actually sidelined me from my trip to Boya. That's what a lot of people don't know, that I was not even to be part of my trip to Boya. I was told in a treasury meeting, the same treasury that they somehow turned around and said they didn't know that there was a treasury. Sako came into the treasury meeting and told the treasury meeting that the director of the treasury is not answerable to me. So I saw that they were already trying to set up accounts on the side, and I refused categorically that it was not going to happen. The only thing that actually helped, that I had access to my trip to Boya funds, it was because the payment platform that we use, they call that mobile cost. They requested us to file in documentation from a non-profit entity. Back then, they had not filed for that status yet. So I came in, given that is what I do, I had submitted those documentation with the name of Ambazonian Foundation. So I submitted those documents to the payment platform Mobile Cost. Mobile Cost now was only going to issue checks based on the name that was on those papers. That is how Ambazonian Foundation ended up being where money was supposed to be deposited from my trip to Boya. So they didn't like it. And because I was very, very stringent with moving money, so they had to find a way to manage whatever things that they were trying to hide from me and set up the President's Corner. That is where she said, oh, I didn't say she was raising money to support presidential initiatives and all of that stuff. So like I indicated, I have not seen the account. I only knew about the account when information was forwarded to me that they removed $2,500 there to pay for his rent. I was also informed about that account by Dr. Tita in Florida, who is now the Undersecretary of Health, that he was giving $500 every month into that account, that they had told him he was going to be part of the decision making. Now they are not listening to him. That's when he got angry. That's when I knew about the account. And I requested for information about that account. That information was never provided to me. So I cannot accurately tell Ambazonians what transpired in that account because I do not know. I do not have access to that account. I am limited to the Ambazonian Consulting and the Ambazonian Foundation. Every dime that went into those two accounts, the Ambazonian Consulting and the Ambazonian Foundation, Ambazonians should hold me responsible if I could not give them an accurate accounting of how that money transpired. And I'm going to really show Ambazonians today from the financial statements to see how the money moved. Each and everyone who took the money, you would see how much went to that individual. So it is a responsibility of Ambazonians to go to these individuals and say, hey, Tabeyang is showing that you received 300,000. What exactly did you do with the 300,000? So a lot of this misinformation and misrepresentation that people have put out here that, oh, they don't know where the money went to, that is not true. There is an accurate reporting of the accounting that happened during that time.
Okay. You know, when Sako Ekome created what he called the President's Corner, he had his own credit or debit card. Can you account for any dime that he withdrew using the credit card or the debit card?
No, like I indicated, I do not have access to the presidential account. And correction, it is Comrade Irene Gua who created that account, not Sako himself. So I have not seen a debit card or a credit card linked to that account, so I cannot. I always try to limit myself to information that I am knowledgeable about. I do not try to address issues that I'm clueless about. So I cannot tell Ambazonians what financial activity was taking place within the presidential corner account.
Okay, people say that the receipts that Eric Tato, because I want this first segment for you to clear some few things before we go deeper, that the receipts that Eric Tato had been sharing in his program, that you, Tabeyang Brado, you provided those receipts to Eric Tato. Is that true?
I don't think that is very true. I think they have to go to Eric Tato to provide the information where he got those receipts. I think he's an investigative journalist. He has different sources where he can collect his information. The receipts and the financial statements or the bank statements that are with me, I had already transferred them to the Transitional Restoration Council. So most of the things that Eric is reporting, some of them are new to me. Like some of the ones that they said they went to Red Lobster and spent $6,000, $1,500. That I was really, really clueless. So I don't know when those ones happened. I don't have a record of those. And even within the bank statements, I don't have a record of those receipts.
Okay. We hear Sako had to move from the slums where he lived to a safe place. What committee authorized the funds for that move? Did Sako buy furniture with money from the account meant for our suffering people on Ground Zero?
I think that is very, very important. You see, they have tried to completely baffle people with the compounding of the issues. When we did the presentation of Sako on February the 4th, 2018, the next day, Sako and Sebastian Mbariku came to my office. And that is when I knew that it was not working. I was very surprised that it was not working. And I think he said he needed some money, first of all, to do his passport, because given the situation now, he will need to travel. And without an American passport, he too might be in a situation where the situation with our leaders, that if it happens, without an American passport, they can just bundle him away. So that was reasonable. I said he needed money to fix his car. That was the first check that I gave him. I think it was $1,300 and something dollars. And then Sebastian said he just came from where Sako was living, and it was deplorable that it was the heart of the ghetto. If we do not assist him to move, somebody can even just shoot him in that ghetto in the neighborhood. I have never been to the neighborhood. And he said they went there with Matt Atugon. Matt Atugon was the then coordinator for Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Virginia. Those are the two individuals who went to his house. But suddenly I begin to hear that it was a committee that sat and decided that he should be moved. No committee sat and decided that he should be moved. There was no committee that sat and decided, because you cannot claim that the powers that be in the revolution back then did not want you to be the acting president. and then you go around and tell the people again that those powers that be decided to move you from your location to a more secure location. That doesn't make any sense. Because if people who apparently did not want you to be the president, the acting president, why would they now approve that you should move from your so-called location to a more secure place? So on that day, he said, given the fact that the position of the acting president came to him without that, he was not prepared, we needed to assist him to move. So I asked him that how much is the rent, and I think they said $2,500. So I said, given the difficult position that we are, we can assist him with $1,200 for him to move just for that month, because I assumed that both him and the wife were working and they could take care of their bills. So assisting him to move for that first month with half the rent was all that I knew that we were going to do. But at the end of that month, I realized that he had spent close to $5,000. And I was like, what is going on? I thought we were just supposed to pay you $1,200 to move. He said, well, he had to pay the storage, the moving, because the apartment was not yet ready. He had moved to the hotel. So he put all those expenditures together. And I knew that that was it. But moving on, I now realized that, guys, the guy...
How was he getting access into the accounts at that time when he had not yet created the president's corner? How was he gaining access into the accounts?
No. You are compounding the president's corner account and the two accounts. All the money that he spent from the two accounts, that is where we can track. The account that he was using was the Ambazonian Consulting. Now, let's go back. When I was appointed the Secretary of State for Economy and Finance, when I came in, they had only the Ambazonian Foundation. I told President Sissoco Ayutabe that we need to get a business entity, because with the Ambazonian Foundation being a charitable organization, we were limited in the things that we could do with the money that was coming in as a non-profit by the laws of this country. So I said it would be proper for us to create a business entity that we can use to do things that we cannot do by law using the foundation. And he said, go ahead. So given that, I always want that multiple individuals to be part of any organizational structure that you want to put together, so that if I'm not available, the other person will be available. I looked around in the cabinet. Back then, Sako was the Undersecretary for Foreign Affairs. That's what a lot of people don't know. You got all of some of these psychophants out here talking that Sako came in, Seseko already had his things set up. No, myself and Sako came to the cabinet on the same day, on the 22nd of November. So when I looked inside the cabinet, I saw his number. I realized that he was here in Maryland. So I called him. I said, the president has asked me to create a business entity. I would like him to be part of that structure, so that if I am not available, he would have access to that information when they ask him, because you needed somebody here in Maryland. And he said, yes, go ahead and add me in that process. So Sako was added in the Ambazonian Consulting in December of 2017. So after the abduction, as a signatory to that account, and he has a right to be a signatory to the account because he's like a part owner to that Ambazonian Consulting. So that is what happened. So he was already part of that structure before he even became the acting president.
Okay, then now, because there is also this question I will ask you now. Have Sisiku Tabeyang, the president, has he ever been a signatory to any Ambazonian accounts?
I can tell you that from when I took over, no. I don't know what happened before I came in. I cannot speak to the veracity of what happened prior to my appointment as the Secretary of State for Economy and Finance. But when I came in on November the 22nd, until this moment, Siseko has never been a signatory to any of the accounts.
Thank you very much for that clarification, Comrade Tabeyang Brado. I will now ask you this very critical question that has caused a lot of controversy. There are these people I call them choir singers. They are they sing choir every day, saying that the President Sisiku Tabeyang, was being paid $6,000 every month, and his wife was being paid as well. You, as the Secretary of Finance in that IG, can you confirm to Ambazonians if the President was being paid such an amount or if he was not paid such an amount?
John Pajo, I am going to give this challenge to all of those lunatics out there. If anybody has evidence to provide to me that Siseko was being paid $6,000 by the interim government when I was the Secretary of State for Economy and Finance, if anybody can provide to me evidence that his wife was being paid $2,000 ever since I became the Secretary of Finance, I am going to do a donation of $500 to any charitable organization that they would choose. That is the challenge that I'm going to give to them. Let me be very clear. Siseko Ayoktabe has never been paid, and I can tell you, I have not signed any single dollar that was approved by Siseko Julius Ayoktabe, not a single dime. Let's remember that Siseko was there for 7 weeks. A lot of this noise that they are making out here, that Siseko was being paid. Siseko was the interim president for 7 weeks. From the day the government was created, November 22nd, to the 5th of January that they were abducted, is 7 weeks. The wife was not paid $2,000 a month. That is a big fat lie. Let me tell you what happened. In August, myself, Sako, and Sebastian Bariku, there was a lot of anger that Sako had paid little attention to the spouses of the abducted leaders. So we decided to make a trip to California. That's when the president's wife just moved into the US. She was in California. We went to California. When we got to California, there was a certain Ambazonian over there who gave us $5,000 to support the struggle. So after the interview, Sako said we should do something to the president's wife. And I said, yeah, that's true. At least let's try to assist with something. He said, how much? I said, $2,000. He said, no. We ended up just giving the $5,000 that was given to us. That is the only money that we gave her in California, $5,000. And before she took the money, she insisted that she would only take the money if we were going to do same to the other spouses. That she would not take the money knowing that there are other spouses in Nigeria who were having difficulties too, the same way she's having difficulties because she just got here. So I said, okay, we're going to address that. So after we came back, we decided that we're going to assist all the spouses. She is the one who gave me the name of all the spouses. She gave me Tassan's wife's number. She gave me Barrister Yambe. She gave me Shufai's. She gave me Awasum's wife in the UK, and I think Dr. Kimen. Manfo said she was fine. She would not need any support. So we actually I sent $2,000 to Tassan's wife. I am very surprised that they're running their mouth all over the place. They don't even know that we actually gave money to Tassan's wife. We sent $2,000 to Shufai's wife and $2,000 to Eyambe's wife. The two people that we did not send money to was the wife of Professor Wasum and Dr. Kimen. Dr. Kimen's wife was here in Maryland. But before we got to them, that's when we started having financial difficulties, so we could not afford. That was the only reason that we did not give money to those two women. But all of them, the rest, had support. So when I hear a lot of these surrogates go out there and run the amount that they were paying Seseku's wife $2,000, I don't know where that is coming from. If they say they were paying Seseku $6,000, which means Sako was the one who was signing that money, because Sako is the only one with authority to sign any amount above $2,000, even if it is 2,001 cents. Sako was the one who was supposed to sign it. I think you see have the argument that they said Honorable Weber was also receiving a $3,000. I mean, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, and you have knuckleheads calling Honorable Weber to come out and defend that he was not receiving $3,000 a month. I mean, if they were giving Honorable Weber $3,000 a month, Sako was the one who was supposed to be signing that money. It has never happened. None of those gentlemen took a dime from the interim government. That I can assure you. And the records are there to prove that.
Okay. Now, if the records are there to prove, I would like to ask you this question. If we, the people of Amazonia, come now to ask you to go for an external audit because they claim that you refused to go for audit called by Sako, are you ready to go for any external audit called by the people of Amazonia?
Don Pacho, listen, you know, like I said, there are so many opinions in these revolutions, but there are facts. And what they have not succeeded to do to me is to take the facts away, because I speak with facts and I have records to prove that contrary to what they are saying, Brado is the person who actually called for the audit. It is Brado. It is Brado who actually put together the internal policies and procedures of the cabinet. And within those internal policies and procedures, you have biannual audits and one external audit. Now, go back to what happened. In September of 2018, Dr. Ekomezoge wrote to me. I think I provided that letter. I don't know whether you can share your screen with that letter.
Yeah, I think, Comrade Pen, please, can you share the screen with the letter?
That they needed to do an audit. And that audit was supposed to be done only on my department per the letter. When you are going to do an audit, there's normally what we call in accounting letter of engagement. In that letter of engagement, you spell out exactly what needs to be audited and what needs to be done. In that letter, he clearly stipulated that he wanted to audit my department. And I said, okay. The first thing that I gave to him was the internal policies and procedures. Because before you go to audit any entity, you have to understand the internal environment. Who is supposed to approve what? Who is supposed to deposit the money? Who is supposed to sign up checks and all of that stuff? That is the first document I gave to him. But I realized that he did not read that document, because in his recommendation after the audit, he stipulated that they should do an internal policies and procedures. Now, if that was the first document that I gave you and you did not read it, why would you recommend that they should do a document like that when the document was already made available? So that is the situation that happened. And because Sako had refused to give his own expenses on time, that audit dragged on until the point where you guys had the leaked audit, that they had leaked the audit, the incomplete audit out, and he indicated that it is me. He did not even share the audit with me. And I was so surprised. Why would you now say, Brado, out the audit? You did not share the audit with me. I was not even in the cabinet meeting when they had that conversation. So there was a lot of pressure. I think all of us are aware when Sako signed that executive order, ordering Dr. Komezoge to fly in from the UK to come in here and do and complete the audit. He flew in here. I think it cost us about $1,500. He flew in. He came to my office. I provided him all the necessary information that he needed to complete the audit. I gave him the bank statements. I gave him the access to the account. I gave him access to QuickBooks. I even put the QuickBooks on a flash drive and handed it over to him. That these are the QuickBooks records that you can run for to help you with the audits. He stayed in my office from I think 8 o'clock until about 7 o'clock. I had gone to pick up my daughter from school. Sebastian Bareku called Uber. Uber came and picked him up from there. So he was here for almost a week. And I am looking at the amount of work that he was supposed to do for the audit. And like, this guy cannot complete this audit within the given time frame. He told me that, well, Sako just wants him to do a brief report and tell the people that everything is okay. And I said, no, you cannot do an audit like that. You have to do a proper audit. He said, it's okay. So he picked up the bank statement, carried them to where he was living in Washington, D.C. After about a week, I gave him, while he was still here, I gave him access that talked to the treasurer. He actually went to Dr. Helen Sakonji's house and collected the Cash App information. And I asked, did he ask you any question? He said, no. You did not ask Tabeyang any question. You did not ask the treasurer any question. What kind of audit are you doing? So he went back to the UK. After 1 month, he provided the first audit reports. And he provided the reports to Dr. Sako. He did not give the report to me. As the head of government, as the person who is dealing with the finances of the government. Luckily, I was in very good terms with Chairman Elvis Kometa. So Sako had taken the report, created a forum between him, Kometa, Ayim, and the Secretary of the Restoration Council, one Chris Chopper in Dallas. They were in that forum. They were going to talk about the audit. So Kometa said, how could we talk about the audit? The person who is responsible for finance is not here. So Kometa forwarded that audit to me. And I read the audit and I was just laughing because it was a terrible job, completely rubbish. And that is why up to today, they have not brought themselves to release that first audit. And about 3 days later, Sako called me and said, we should meet and talk about the audit. And I asked him that, why are we meeting to talk about the audit? The audit was supposed to be delivered to me. And as the head of finance, I will review the audit with the auditor and then we'll present the report to the president. Why is it now that they're giving you the audit and then you are calling me to look into the audit? He said, no, he just received the audit. But he did not even know that Kometa had given me the audit 3 days ago. Just you see the complete blatant lies that he tried to tell. So I said, I'm not going to meet with him. I said, I am going to respond to the audit. So I responded to the audit and I sent it to the Restoration Council. I sent it to him. In that audit, I told the Restoration Council through their chairman and Chris Chopper that there needs to be a complete audit because the audit that was done was terribly done. Now, when I posted that request in the cabinet, a lot of them mocked at me. They felt that maybe the audit, because the cabinet had not seen the audit yet. Oh, they felt that, oh, maybe the audit had incriminated Brado, but there was nothing there against Brado. What was there was, it was incomplete. That's why I said it was not done. He tried to just gloss over the presidential expenses. And how can you say you carry out an audit for the entire government? In that audit, you only commented about the presidential expenditure. You did not comment about ASE or Department of Homeland that has spent almost $500,000-$600,000. Not a single comment. You did not speak to a single individual. And you call that for goodness sake. And you present that to the Ambazonian people that this is an audit. And you expect professionals to sit quiet. and just gloss over it. It is me who wrote to the Restoration Council, and I have proofs of that they need to redo that audit that he did. And I was not going to sit back again with him, except another committee is set up. If it involves a Komezoge, I was not going to waste my time to do an audit with him. So the Restoration Council wrote to the cabinet that they need to redo the audit because they asked so many questions. They have the information. So during the deliberations in the cabinet, they had already ganged up. They had ganged up Komezoge, Irene Gwa, Sako himself, the ethics. The VP was the current VP was in that meeting. It was like between me and him and all of them. They said, "Oh, it is Brado." No. It's Brado. Brado did not give the information. And I asked, this guy came over here for 1 week to do an audit. Did he report to the president that Brado refused to give any single document? Let him show that record. That he asked for any document that he requested from Brado, and Brado did not provide the document. Not a single one. Even Ayim wrote in the cabinet that the audit is going well. Everything has been provided to the auditor. Now, when you realize that the auditor did not indict Brado as they were expecting in cabinet, everybody got angry with the audit. So they decided that, okay, they were going to put another committee to do the audit. I said, fine, I don't have a problem with that. I am the one who called for audit. There is nothing that I'm hiding. At any time, I am going to be available for an audit, but not with Dr. Komezoge. That is not going to happen because he had demonstrated that he is inept and completely unprofessional, because during that cabinet meeting, he actually told the cabinet that they should fire me. That since I came in, I have not done anything. I have not raised money. Irene Gwa is the one raising money. And I'm asking myself, this is supposed to be the auditor. This is supposed to be a neutral auditor. Why is he attacking me? And I knew all along that is the game that we were playing with Sako. You can realize that he actually took over my position. Sako appointed him after the audit as the Secretary of Economy within that thing they call interim government. So I knew all along that the game was, okay, Brado is the only guy here who is trying to make sure that they should not undermine the leaders. Brado is the only one who is standing firm, and the VP to a certain extent back then. So Brado must find a way to discredit Brado. And that is why you saw after that, Chris Anu came out and put out those lies that Brado is the only person as the secretary and the treasurer. Even though Chris Anu has written to the treasurer requesting for money, Brado was trying to do everything because he has shares in SCPC, even though he could not prove that. So it was like orchestrated. Chris Anu came out, attacked my integrity. The next day, the ethics committee came out and wrote a letter that even contradicted their own position. On the 1st of March, Sako came out without executive order. I called him and I said, Sako, I have seen what is going on. Don't think Brado is stupid. First of all, I don't depend on you. So you people should not think that all these games that you're playing, I don't know it. All the concerted effort was to make Brado the boogeyman. This is a fall guy. Everything is Brado, but one thing that you people will forget, the facts will not change. Brado stay with the facts. It will not change. So the president came and reconstituted the cabinet, and he left. They stayed back with their own thing. Around June or July, they came back. Dr. Komezoge sent me the WhatsApp chat that they wanted me to be present in an audit on the 2nd of June 2019. to complete the audit. I was very nice to him. I told him, Dr. Komezoge, you know, I have never objected to an audit. But given the present circumstances that we face with two IGs, there is no way I am going to say if you do that audit alone, Ambazonians are going to believe in that audit, because there's already a lot of mistrust. And by then, the VP had already indicated to me that they wanted to audit the records. So I told Dr. Komezoge, said, Dr. Komezoge, this is what Daphne had indicated. Can you call Daphne and ask him that Brado should participate in that audit that you're doing? Because people should bear in mind that these records are not Brado's records. These are state records. I do not have a right to just carry those records and do what it pleases me. If you are working within an institution, you must work within the rules of that institution. So I asked him that, please, can you ask Daphne if I could work with you guys to complete this audit? He said, okay. He is going to ask the Restoration Council. He's going to ask the AP, and then he was going to ask the cabinet. I don't know whether I can share my screen so that you actually see the letter that he wrote to me.
Yes, if you have the letter, you're free to share. Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you. Just hold on 1 second for me.
Okay. Yes, while Comrade Brado is searching for the evidences to prove to us what he is saying, fellow viewers, I want to tell Ambazonians that this program is very open for everybody. We invited the other camp, but they turned down our invitation. I see comments coming in that it is a one-sided show. It is not a one-sided show. If you belong to the other camp, you are free to contact Don Pasho or to contact SCBC that you are willing to come up to SCBC and speak. We are open. SCBC is the People's TV. It is the People's platform. It belongs to all Ambazonians. We don't belong to any camp. We don't belong to any group. We belong to the people of Ambazonia. Thank you.
Are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen?
No. You have shared the screen, and it is now. I have to. You have added.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I'm seeing your screen. Yes, I'm seeing your screen, but it's better to post.
You see that?
Yes, it is now okay. I can see it now.
That is the first letter that he sent. Dr. Komezoge sent to me. Said, greeting and good morning, Comrade Brado. It's been a while. Sure, the family is doing great. Please, I will be glad to have a chat with you. An audit committee has been created and constituted with a member from each county and 5 other members. We began work already. This committee will be happy to have you on Sunday, the 2nd of June, for some clarifications as concerns all the financial details so as to finally conclude the audit. The Zoom meeting for this exercise will be on Sunday, the 2nd of June at 2 p.m. Amber time. And that is my response to him. Comrade Metuge, thanks for being in contact regarding another audit. The VP W. Yerima instructed my department last week that he will be making us aware of his intentions with regard to this matter. could you please contact him to clarify that it is appropriate for me to engage with you and your team regarding this process at this point? I will be waiting to hear from you. He said, okay, thanks. I will have to consult with the cabinet, the Restoration Council, and AP, Dr. Sako first. You can as well give me the number of Comrade Dabney to get in touch with me. Now, this is an audit that they are saying that Sako had nothing to do with him, but the lead auditor is telling me that he will have to consult with them before they make a decision on that issue.
Okay, thank you.
On the 15th of June, they sent me a new audit letter. Remember that he had said I was supposed to appear on the audit on the 2nd of June. And then they turned around because he had not sent me a new audit letter. They sent me an audit letter on the 15th of June. I ignored it. I did not even respond to him. One of the other guys who was part of the audit, is a certain, is that Tabeyang in the UK, called me. Comrade Tabeyang called me and indicated that he wanted me to be part of the audit. So I told him that, listen, I will be very glad to be part of the audit. But the situation, he himself said he knows that we have problems with Dr. Komezoge, but they have collected people from different counties to be part of that audit. So I told him that I don't have a problem with being part of the audit. But if they are going to review the audit that Metuge did, which is what they were trying to do online, how do you do an audit of this magnitude over a Zoom call? I said, it's not going to happen. First of all, the bank statements were not reconciled by Metuge. You don't even know what amount was remaining in the account. So as a professional, I'm not going to approve that we actually conduct the audit on a Zoom conference call. I told him that the best thing for them to do is to pick 2 or 3 people from their side, and they should get Comrade Daphne, pick 2 or 3 people, and we should do a complete audit. Or alternatively, we can go to an independent auditor to do the audit. Now, they refused doing that because by them calling Daphne, it means they were going to recognize the IG, and they in no way did they want to recognize that there was another IG. That is the reason that they did not call Daphne to send his own team to join with their team to do the audit. And then they turn around and say, Brado refused to do the audit. Even my response with a Komezoge, as everyone has seen, and did not refuse that I was not going to participate. I just wanted something that would be done for Ambazonians to be confident that this audit is not coming from the Sako side and it is not true, or it is not coming from Daphne's side, it is not true. Bring both sides together, because there were finances that concern when Setsoko was there for the past 7 weeks before Sako came in, and there were finances that happened when Sako was there. So get both sides to form a combined audit committee and look into these records. What is there that you people are so scared of having independent people look at these records? So it is on them. If anybody goes out there and say Brado refused an audit, that is just not true. Brado is the one who even insisted that the first audit that was done should be redone because Metuge did a terrible job. He tried to cover Sako. That is the reason why they desperately wanted to just gloss over it, and everything was gone. Now Brado became the obstacle because Brado indicated that this was not going to fly. And that is why you see all of this back and forth. But sometimes you just sit back and allow people to wallow in their ignorance. Because when you do things like that, at the end of the day, you are going to come out as an ignorant person because the facts would be contrary to what you've been presenting.
Okay, Comrade Brado, you know, there is this school of thought that goes out there to say SCBC was being sponsored by money from my trip to Boya. I want you to clarify, Amazonians, when the Sako camp break away and created the Alphabet TV, have we or have you ever paid the bill of SCBC when they created the Alphabet TV?
You know that is not true, because if when a lot of the problems that I, from my personal observation of this revolution, is our people have become so gullible, and to a certain extent, a lot of our people are very stupid, particularly the people saying stuff like that. Because one, the bills for SCBC were $12,500. Sako is the one who is supposed to approve those bills. Those bills were supposed to go through Chris Anu before they were being paid. So if they say that I paid those bills, it means Sako approved the bills. It means Chris Anu approved the bills, because I did not approve a single bill that did not come through the secretary of that department. That is not true. If they have facts, if they have the records, let them present them. I don't want to be commenting on things that I know is just a waste of my time and completely ridiculous, because they do not have access to those records. But the people who had access online, Irene Ngwa, Richard Tangu, Bless Ngwa, Sako himself, do you think that they really saw a record of me paying SCBC? They would not have flaunted that all over the social media by now? If at all, I was paying SCBC after the closure. Remember, when they decided to stop paying SCBC, I pleaded with Sako. I was with him on the phone for almost 1 hour. And I pleaded with him that, listen, this breakup, because I did not support it, this breakup that you're causing is going to affect this struggle with the way you are trying to alienate the folks in South Africa. It's going to cause a lot of trouble here. Please, even if we are going to break up with SCBC, let's at least pay their bill for 1 month or 2 months so that they can get back on their feet before we exit. He said no. He said he had evidence. Apparently, maybe he had somebody in South Africa that I don't know. He said he had evidence that even if we leave them just for 1 month, Milana Tam was going to go to ground zero and put young teenagers as war recruits for the IG, and they're going to put that on his head. I was like, wow, where did you get this kind of information, for goodness sake? He said, oh, they have their sources in South Africa who have told them that they were going to go to ground 1 or ground 0 and put these little boys together and show them that the IG is recruiting underage and minors to fight within the ranks of the restoration forces. And that's when I just shook my head and said, we are here into deep trouble, deep trouble. If you can believe these lies. So sometimes when I see some of the surrogates believing those lies, it doesn't surprise me, because I know those lies. I know those games. From then, we had not paid a single dime to LCBC. I think the last time we paid LCBC would be either May or June. That was it. None. Anybody saying that, they're telling lies.
May or June of which year, please?
Of 2018. Of 2018.
Thank you very much. Okay. They say that you took some funds and President Tabeyang gave you orders not to release those funds. How much was being left in the 2 bank accounts before you were being fired from your position? How much was left in those 2 accounts, and did President Sisiko ever give you any orders not to release monies from those accounts?
That is just such a joke. You see, most of these fabrications, I think when you lack things to say, then you are left with bringing up these unfounded and half-truths. President Sisiko has never had any leverage, any control on the finances of the interim government from the day he was abducted. Never. He has not ordered the approval or denial of any funding request. All of them were done by Sako. Any amount above $2,000, $2,000 1 cent was approved by Sako. At the end of December, when we did the financial statements, the total balance in the account was about $20,000 something. A little bit of money came in from about 150 people who were still left paying the citizenship levy. And most of that money was used for the leaders. The records are there. So any one of them who is saying that Brado blocked some money somewhere by Seseko is living in dreamland, because I can actually provide those things. I'm going to provide the bank statements, the financial reports here for people to see how much money came in and how much money went out. So you will know that there is no money left anywhere. If they have access to the account, how would they say that I blocked the account? Sako is the one who ordered that the account should be frozen. He has online access to the account. He is a signatory to the account. How could he say that Brado, by authority from Cecil Kwayotabe, blocked money into an account that he has access, that he can walk into a bank and ask that that money should be disbursed because he's a signatory to that account? How do they want to take Amazonians? Like people have become so dumb that even the basic addition and subtraction our people cannot do?
Comrade Brado, before we go for the break and come back and start taking calls, I would like to ask you this very pertinent question. Whose idea was it to put Pastor Tata Johnson, the head of Sako's security, on a salary? You, Sako, or cabinet? And how much was that salary? Who else in the cabinet of Sako was on salary? And what were the amounts given to each of them?
No, I think Tata was never put on a salary. That should be very clear. Tata was never put on a salary. What they did was Tata was head of security even when Seseko visited the US. And he continued when Sako came in. Apparently, they're living in almost the same neighborhood. So he basically was spending most of his time with Sako. So when I knew that he was actually getting some money was when they put in an invoice request that they needed money. And I saw him asking that every time that he took the president out, it was about $50. And we had a lot of quarreling about that money. Even the treasurer, we had to argue to the point where we could not argue anymore. So we decided to pay the money, but we made sure that it was not going to happen. So I think it was just once that he submitted that invoice for $50 for each of the trips that he went out with Sako. Now, there is no other person in the cabinet that was on salary. Chris Anu had asked for salaries for ABC people, which I rejected. And that actually caused him to go out and attack me personally, that I was trying to frustrate ABC. Sako was spending money that was not approved. I am not going to say it is a salary because nobody had actually determined the amount that they were going to give him at the end of the month.
So he forcefully decided to be paying himself without any approval from anybody. Is that what you're saying?
That's very correct. Nobody. And the difficulties that I had with a lot of the purchases that he did, most of them, he did them online. And given that the address was my office address, most of those things came to my office address. And I had to summon Sebastian Bariku. I said, there were a lot of purchases that they're doing. First of all, the president has no authority to do purchases. If you are going to follow the internal controls, you have no authority to do purchases. What are these purchases that you're doing? I think that's when they said they were buying satellite phones for ground zero and all of that. But I'm looking at the satellite phone, the cost, it was just mind-boggling. So I said, I'm not going to record information that I do not have accurate accounting of what those purchases entail. Because when you're doing accounting, the bookkeeping for accounting, you have to actually determine what are your assets and what are just regular expenses. So I don't know whether these things that he was buying were supposed to be recorded as assets of the interim government or they were just regular expenses. And that's when I said, I am not going to record them until he gives me a proper accounting. Until I left, he did not do that. So I was very surprised when I heard that, oh, the auditors, he gave a proper accounting of whatever he spent. And when I read the record, it was just complete bogus. Even the amount that this last auditors accounted that he spent $80,000 does not even reconcile with the amount that Dr. Tata and Sebastian Baruku provided to Professor Ayim to provide to me. How do you really say that you audit somebody and then even the records that come from him does not match the record that you sent to me initially? So the whole thing was just complete bogus. And they come out here and tell people that
Can you give us the exact amounts that came from the auditors and the amount that came from Sebastian Baruku?
I can tell you I don't have an accurate amount, but it was $80,000 something. From Sebastian Baruku, it was 70-something thousand dollars. And from Dr. Tata, it was about $32,000. Now, Dr. Tata was given an accounting of the Ambazonian consulting, which he and Sako were doing purchases. So I instructed them that I must have a proper accounting of what they spend the money. So his calculation came to $30-something thousand. Sebastian was working with most of the other things with Ambazonian Foundation. So his own accounting came to about $70-something thousand that he identified that they spent at the presidency. So if you combine both amounts, it was about 100 and something thousand, even though both of them were wrong because I actually had tracked that information. The total amount that he spent was about $120-something thousand. Now, the auditors come in with that, he spent about $80,000. How? Even the records that they gave me does not match.
Okay. Now, I will go now to you before we go for the break. In a hindsight, what would you have done differently? Would this nosedive have been avoided? What lessons were learned that are being implemented by the IG right now, the present IG?
Now, let me be very clear. A lot of the things that I'm doing with the IG now, I had proposed them to do back then to fix the situation. I realized that given that the secretary is accountable to the president, there was no way that the secretary can go out and put out a report without the approval of the president. So I came up with the idea of the Bank of Ambazonia. I will be very, very candid with you. The idea of the Bank of Ambazonia originated during that cabinet in August of 2018. That's when I came up with the idea. I said, then, even if the president is going to refuse the reports from being put out, the bank as a semi-autonomous body will be able to provide reports to Ambazonians. And that is what the bank is actually doing now. So there was a fix. If he had allowed me to implement the fix, we would have solved that problem right in the cabinet. But he saw what I was doing and decided to parachute his national treasury, appointed Richard Tangu by recommendation from Comrade Iringwa. Richard Tangu came with his own staff members. Bless Ngwa, there was a certain lady, is it Valentine or something? They came in, about 6 of them. And Bless Ngwa actually told me that it's not answerable to me, it's answerable to Richard Tangu. Now, how do you appoint a director in my own department and they are not answerable to me? They are not even supposed to provide any records to me. So I said it's not going to happen. But you know what they did? They went behind. They connived with the first Treasury Director, Dr. Festus Nde, and went to Baltimore and changed the documents of Ambazonian Foundation. They fraudulently changed the documents of Ambazonian Foundation. That Ambazonian Foundation was registered by Dr. Helena Kunji. Her name is still there in that document. Dr. Helena Kunji is still part of the board of directors of that foundation, even though she's no more a member of their IG. Chief of Staff Yembe Elangu of this IGK is still a board member in that Ambazonian Foundation treasury. So they fraudulently changed the documents in Baltimore. If I really wanted to cause them a lot of problems, I would have gone down to Baltimore and told them that this is a fraud that was committed because I filed for the 501c of that organization. I have the original documents of the 501c of Ambazonian Foundation. And if you have individuals go behind the entire organization to change the authorities of that organization, it is a fraud, even here in the state of Maryland. So they run their mouths like that, as I say. A lot of people have opinions. But if this struggle was really about them, I look at this struggle like we have much problems with La Republic and not worry about trivialities from folks like that. But if you can go to the extent where you can forge the documents and you lie to the state that you held a board meeting and you decided to change the board of directors, change the entity, and deposited the documents, it is a problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Brado. We are going to have a break for you to at least release yourself a little bit. After that break, lines will be open for comrades, viewers, to be able to call in and ask their questions to Comrade Tabeyang Brado. So, fellow viewers, be ready. As soon as we come back from this break, we are going to receive your calls. Comrade Oganafao, take us for the break. Thank you.
SCBC is your television. It's a communal project of the people of Ambazonia. Come join us to support SCBC. Oga Nafao.
What? What? Buffet. Kongo Mumago, Kongo Mumago le, Kongo. Batana bende, Balumba, Bazantaba, Bobuma ba Buffet, Neji, 1 2 3 4, Neji. Kongo Mumago, Kongo. Wabukere na buwana mbomega ata. Neji tabi ina goten, ntwanda na longi ina yu. Mabutong na SCBC. Ata, mukara song male. Ana Southern Cameroon Broadcasting Corporation. Neji le tabi ina twa, mbomega ata. Anda na longi mak. Kena nujima ichala biina Ambazonia. Kongo Mumago le, Kongo. What bibi. What bibi. Bufu.
Abo manyu abo eyumojok nkubwan pepe. Una chemobo una kap ACBC. ACBC are yumezene. ACBC are yume Ambazonia. ACBC baba Quebec lewen ekyop una chemobo una kap ACBC una kamara ACBC akpo ACBC are esangazene ACBC chonga klewen orum and baba Quebec lewen orum nkobwan pepe.
SCBC now we own. Now we the people of Amazonia now we think. If you like SCBC, sponsor SCBC, support SCBC. Bataroki.
Welcome back, fellow viewers, to this second segment of the program, The Hot Seat. Like you all know, I am your host, Don Pasho, and with me, we have the Secretary of Economy and Finance, Comrade Tabeyang Brado. The lines are open for everyone to call in and ask their questions. Each and every one of you can call in, ask whatever question you want to ask to Comrade Tabeyang Brado. He is open. He is very, very open to answer any of your queries. When you are ready to call, just call the lines that you find on your screen so that I will be able to get you clearly. Before we get to our viewers, Comrade Tabeyang and Brado, I would like us to talk a little bit about the bank of Ambazonia that you came up with. I want to ask you, how was the creation of the Bank of Ambazonia by the interim government being able to address issues of transparency, accountability, and responsibility that were predominant with the entity and the era of Sako as acting president?
Well,
Hello.
I think that the results are there for people to see. The idea was
Hello.
for us to get. Can you hear me?
It seems as if we have a caller.
Yes.
Hello, caller.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, hello. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from somewhere in East Africa. I am Mr. Ngale.
Okay, Mr. Ngale, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I want to ask Comrade Tabeyang. First of all, I want to thank you for the program. I also thank him for his contribution. We are happy for the clarification. So I want to ask Mr. Tabeyang, was Sako the principal signatory, or he was just part of the signatories to the account? Because I remember what I know from my knowledge about a joint account or an account like that, you have a principal signatory without whom you cannot withdraw money from the account. So if Asako was the principal signatory, then I will understand why he withdrew money that much. But if at all he was just a member, then I'll ask who was the principal signatory to the account.
I think that is a good. I think that I can hear you. I think that is a very good question for clarity. Here in Maryland, when you create an entity, the entity we created, Ambazonian Consulting, it was like both of us. So when you go to the bank to open an account, both of you are principal signatories to that account. So it's not just added there like any ordinary member of the organization that probably added there with some restrictions. No, he is a principal signatory to the account because he was a part owner of that Amazonian Consulting.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Comrade Tabeyang, you were answering the question on the Bank of Ambazonia.
Yes, like before the call came in, I think the results for the Bank of Ambazonia are clear for everyone to see. The idea behind the bank was to create a semi-autonomous entity with limited control by the government, so that, like I indicated earlier, if whosoever is the president or the leader try to stifle the provision of regular statements to the general public, then the bank can provide those statements, and that is what the bank is doing. And I indicated that the bank should be very inclusive of every segment or stakeholders in this revolution. I think that's why I recommended that the activists should send in a representative, the civil society should send in a representative, and then there should be representatives from the 13 counties, so that everybody is seated there. They would make decisions with the money that is coming in. Everybody would know if they send money to the Bialam or they send money to Kupemanunguba. Everybody would know if money was disbursed to buy material, whether on ground zero or for humanitarian purposes. And that is exactly what they are doing with the limited representation that they have in there now. And the bank is still open to additional members from the county that have not yet sent in their representation. So the bank does quarterly financial statements and financial reports presented to the public.
Hello?
Brado, we have a caller. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, caller. Are you getting me? And where are you calling from, please?
Hello, Ken.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah, your
Ken.
name and where are you calling from? Yeah, hello, caller?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you 5 on 5. Can you get me?
Yes, my question is this to Tabeyang. I'm calling first of all, I'm calling in South Africa. So my question is this. Can we not find a way to work with the AGF? Everybody should just go under AGF and work with AGF than us going round every day here and there. Because when we are going round here and there, it doesn't really help. We should just find a way to work with the AGF. That is what I'm thinking. And I'm asking Tabeyang, can we not work with AGF and get out of this thing? Thank you.
Thank you. I think
Thank you very much, caller.
That question is beyond my scope. The leader of the interim government is Comrade Daphne Yerima. I think that question should be directed to him. But on a personal note, I think that we are all open to collaboration and even the prospect of us uniting our forces. So, Tabeyang, personally, I do not have any reservations. There are efforts that we have done behind the scenes with even authorities that have come in to help to try to unify most of this disorganization and disunity that we see in the diaspora. So that question should be directed to the people.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tabeyang. Hello, caller. Who is on the line?
And get out of this thing.
Hello, caller. Please, can you move away? Can you move away from your receiver, please? Caller, can you move away from your receiver, please?
Hello?
Yes, can you
Hello,
move away
comrade.
from your receiver, please?
Okay, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, I'm getting you now.
Hello,
5 on
Don.
5. Are you getting me?
Okay, can I participate now?
Yes, you can ask your question to Comrade Tabeyang.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Tabeyang, for standing up for your people in a time of crisis and doing everything that you could do to save the people. I'm not here to blame you, actually, but I've watched about 3 interviews that you've done since you had this breakup with Sako, and I've noticed that you are giving like cutting-edge information that is so important to us, but you are giving it slowly, sir. What's going on? It's like you are trying to sever the relationship, and then you are not. Please, Mr. Tabayan, let's hit the nail. If you think that these people are contrary to the revolution, I think your language should express that, because it's like you're going. But I'm very sorry, my elder person. I'm just saying it the way that I see it. Well, my question actually, I have just 3 questions. I wish you answer them, sir. What do you think about Eric Tatos, who is supposedly an Amazonian activist? And then what do you think about this lawyer? They call him Barrister John. So, and then what do you think about what do you think about what's your idea, what's your solution to get out of what we are in? I mean, the crisis between Seseko, Sako, and all that is I was supporting the IG, but I had to withdraw my card because of the confusion. So please, what is your step out of this Sako crisis out of this peace, and what would you advise your people? Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful to have a chance to ask you any question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. I will plead with Comrade Tabeyang to let's take like 2-3 calls, then we
Okay.
shut the lines, and then you respond to the questions. Are you taking note of the questions, Comrade Tabeyang?
Yes, that's very correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other person on the line? Hello, caller? Hello, caller? There is nobody on the line. You can start answering question of what do you think about Eric Tato?
Well, I think I would want to get myself from my position secretary, and
it seems as if we have a caller. Hello, caller?
Hello?
Yes, who is on the line?
This is Eric
And where are you
Tato.
calling from? Okay, The Rock. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, please. Okay, I want to just, before I ask a question, I'll make a comment. And was trying to do PR for ADF. I want to tell that person that why would the ADF not join us for us to fight? Why they think that we must come and join the ADF? So I've told the ADF for many times that they are the people who are destroying Cho Ayaba because they are saying things that are impossible. All right, so we will not have the hugest following. They will come and leave and go and join the ADF. The ADF cannot compare its crowd, its population, and the military with the interim government. So the earlier they know that we will not join them, the better for them. They will join us. So this thing should be clear. If ADF wants to collaborate, they should collaborate. There is no way Cho Ayaba is doing his best, but there is a leader in this revolution. The earlier the ADF, people know that the better. And these are not things that people should be pampering them on shows. We are working with the ADF, and that relationship should be maintained. ADF is not the dominant group in this revolution. They have never been. The most dominant group has been the interim government. And that is why in the latest Human Rights Watch report, they have described the interim government, and it was specified there, led by Sisi Kwayok Tabejo, as the biggest. And that is why it has the biggest activists. I will name some of the activists. Eric Tato is one. He's the most watched. And he is supporting the interim government led by Sisi Kwayok Tabejo Julius. You, Don Pasho, you are with the interim government. Mark Barretta is with the interim government. Salah Satefo. These are the 4 biggest activists, most credible. So the ADF should not come and tell us that we should take our credibility and come and give them. Do they know how much we have fought to try to clean the dirty image that they had from Guzang and all over and stuff like that? So the earlier the ADF should know that they should stop this attack on thinking that Cho Ayaba is going to lead this revolution. Is never going to happen. Cho Ayaba is leader of AGOS. See, that ends there. Sikwa Yotabi just is leader of the interim government and leader of the revolution. Why is the ADF fighting? Are they not fighting because of the restoration of the independence by Sisi Kwayok Tabejo Julius? We have destroyed the peaks. They are completely out of the question. The ADF should not bring a fight because they will not last 2 days. That's the first point I want to make. And these people should not condone people who think that they can come on air and come and talk rubbish. When there is a question to the secretary, people should ask questions, not come and do public relations. SCB should, if I'm the one, I'll just cut you off and block you from the show. SCB should not give that kind of chance to those kind of hypocrites. The other thing I want to say is that some people, somebody called and was saying something about Secretary Tabeyang giving out information. Tabeyang is not a kid. He's giving all information that is vital for the consumption of the population. The ones that are very crucial, he's not doing it because, like he said, this is America. 1-2 minutes, they can bring a lot of trouble to Sako because what they are using, that is why Chris Anu just registered ABC TV just now. So at the end of the day, our revolution is back on, and people should understand that there is no way we can condone thievery in this revolution. Sako was one of the main signatories to the account. He even had a credit card and a debit card. I'm sure that those are some of the things that Secretary Tabeyang should be telling the population. How even Sebastian Mbariku took a credit card or debit card from Sako and destroyed it because Pastor Tata was using the card to be buying things online and randomly with people's money. So these are the things that we cannot condone. Remember that the Human Rights Watch has just described Sako's group. They did not give it a name. They gave it. They say it's a splinter group of the interim government led by Sisi Kwayok Tabejo. Splinter means it's like a bag of rice. Then you take a cup of rice and you throw it somewhere. That's a splinter. The whole bag is still intact. So we will not give chance to people who come online and they come and disturb because they think that everybody has Facebook and people have phone and WhatsApp is free. Everybody can call. Next time, put this show and put it on direct line, push to spend credit and call. You see how many people will call and talk rubbish on Facebook. So anyway, Secretary, before I go, I have one question for you. What are you doing to facilitate any external audit? Because Sako has used the issue of auditing. They brought fake people to come and do auditing, brought his friends to do auditing to try to sabotage you. Is there any legal procedure you can take to bring the matriculable funds to an external auditor? That's my question, please.
I think I indicated, can you hear me?
Yes, Comrade Brado.
Yes, I indicated earlier that the documents have been transferred to the Transitional Restoration Council, and I can conveniently say they are engaged in a process that would allow the chairperson of that committee, when the time is appropriate, to have a communication with the general public. Those documents are no longer with me, and I have indicated severally that at any time that I am needed for clarity, I am here. The records are not going to go away. The one thing that they don't have is the records. And I can tell Ambazonians, if they had anything really damaging against Brado, because they had access to the records. So these things, they don't lie. Money was moved from bank account to bank account online. I didn't give cash to any of them. I think Sebastian, but 99% of them, the monies were transferred online. So you're not going to argue that money did not move from your account or from the Bazonian Foundation or the consulting account to your account. That is the only thing that they will never be. And I have those records.
Brado, let's take this caller and then we tell the we connect. Hello, caller.
Yes.
Yeah, please, your name and where you are calling from.
This is Atom Muchia. I'm calling from New Jersey, United States.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
My comment is for Mr. Tabeyang. How are you, comrade?
I am good, bro.
Yes, my comment is about what you said about the fraud of the Ambazonia Foundation. You know, and I know, this is a crime. It's a financial crime going on now, and you have made a public statement, which if the authorities pick up on, they will want to know who knew what and when. You are now privy to information about a fraud against a government, an authority. That is a crime for which I would suggest you better inform the authorities. Because if this is investigated and it's found out that you knew about it and you concealed it, you may be getting yourself into, I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding of how the system works in financial crime, you may be getting yourself into trouble. I would suggest that if you've made this information public, you better cover your bases. That's just my personal advice to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Think,
thank you very much,
Don Patrick, can I share my screen so that you should see exactly what I'm talking about? Those
yes.
Is that the one I mean? Do you have my
TV
now?
Yeah, the TV has taken your screen.
Okay.
The technician has taken your screen.
This is
I will plead with the Comrade Tabeyang, please let me just plead. I will plead with the technician, Ogandafao, please, for this moment, can you just shut the lines for Comrade Tabeyang to clarify these issues for Ambazonians to see, please. Thank you. Comrade Tabeyang, you can go ahead.
This is the corporate charter. This is a document that we filed with the state of Maryland. They made these changes on the 26th of December 2018. I was still the Secretary of Economy and Finance. They never told me, had no clue about it. If you go down, you look at the signatory here, Richard Tangu. He put his address in Maryland. Richard Tangu doesn't even live in Maryland. That is the first fraud. That Richard Tangu is in Ohio and he has his address in Maryland. So he lied to the authorities that he is in Maryland. If you go down, these are the people that they put in as the new board of directors. You have Bless Chair, Victorine Yani, Irene Gwa, Eyembe Elango, Willie Acho, Richard Tangu, and Elena Konyi. This is as of yesterday. This is the information that is still on the on the website of the Department of Assessment here in Maryland. If you go down, you would look at the letter that they wrote in complicity with the former president of the board, Dr. Festus Ndé, who had actually resigned almost a year before they were doing this stuff. I don't know how they got to a meeting with him, and then they went and changed this information. This is a letter that they submitted to change that information with the Secretary of State in the state of Maryland. They said, we, officers and directors of Ambazonian Foundation, Inc., FN, they were calling it the National Treasury because that's what they have been trying to float around. In view of institutional growth in discharging the organization business of soliciting, managing and processing donations and disbursement, hereby resolve that this new officer should immediately assume the associated roles within the Treasury. I think when they went there, they refused. They changed it to the because the name of the state name was Ambazonian Foundation. We hereby resolve unanimously that Richard Tangu will replace Mr. Festus Ndé as Foundation Director. Mr. Blesche will fill the role of the Assistant Treasurer and Controller of the Foundation. Ms. Victorine Yani would henceforth. They didn't tell you whosoever had those other roles because they did not inform both Mrs. Elena Kongi, who actually registered this entity from the beginning. They did not inform either Yembe Elango. They held this meeting, about two of them, and drafted this fraudulent document, and these are their signatures. These are the people we deal with on a daily basis, and they go around telling people all these lies, trying to frame people.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Brado, for that clarification. Comrade Penn, you can open the lines back. You can open the lines back for us to. Yeah, hello, caller. Okay, it seems as if we don't have any caller. Fellow viewers, fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Ambazonians, we are seeing for ourselves what Secretary Brado Tabeyang is presenting to the people of Ambazonia. What this program is meant for is for us all to question leadership, is for us all to hold leadership accountable for whatever they do, because we need all these clarifications for the betterment of Ambazonia.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Yes, are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Name
yes,
I
want to ask Mr. Tabeyang, is there any way we can do something to arrest these guys so that they should not be stealing from our people? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, caller. Comrade Tabeyang, please just take another set of 3 questions, then you respond.
You know, we're still having the questions that were asked earlier and all of that have not been answered.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, caller?
Yes, hello?
Where
yes,
you calling
hello?
from? Your name and where you are calling from?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, hello? Yeah, my name is Solomon. I'm calling from Canada.
Please, can you shift away from your receiver? Because as you are talking and watching me from your receiver,
hello?
you are going to be listening to your TV instead of listening to the phone. Can you shift away from your screen, from your TV or laptop or whatever you're watching me
yes.
from?
Yes, hello? Yes. Yeah, my name is Solomon. I'm calling from Canada.
Okay,
yes,
sir.
Thank you, Don Pasho, and thank you, Tabeyang, for that brilliant.
Caller, caller, can you shift away from your receiver, please? If you don't shift away from your receiver, I would be forced to tell the technician to drop your call.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from? Your name and where you are calling
Hello,
from?
Tom Pasho, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Are you getting me?
All right, yeah, I can hear you 100%, 100%.
Yeah, where are you calling from, sir?
Oh, I'm calling from Missouri, United States.
Okay, you
This
can
is
go ahead.
Gideon. All right, thank you very much for the show, my brother. I think I really appreciate every one of your shows thus far, and this one has been one of those that I think the Ambazonian people really needed. Comrade Brado, I think you have been very consistent with your facts from the very first outing that you made when this thing started. So first of all, I want to say thank you. I think even though we still think that you should have gone rogue before everything, happened. You should have gone rogue. You shouldn't have respected protocol because people were dying a lot during that period until now. Even still now, people are still dying, and you just stood quiet. I think that's one of the things that Ambazonians will probably have over your head every day, every time, because you had the opportunity to speak, but because of your professionalism, you wanted to stay quiet. But so my question now to you is related to exactly the same thing that I think my question is directly the same thing that Eric asked. What can we really do to find a neutral group of persons to have this account edited in the most transparent and fair manner, so that everyone, even those who do not believe, who do not trust you or would not trust your group or your the interim government, can be satisfied with the outcome of the audit. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, caller. Comrade Pen, we have a series of 5 questions now. Can you please just hold the line? Can you cut the line for some minutes for Comrade Tabeyang? We have one caller already on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah,
Pasho.
Your name and where you are calling from. Yes, sir.
Hello, Pasho.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from? Your name?
I'm calling from Belgium.
Okay.
Hello.
You can go ahead, sir. Just ask your question. Direct to the point. Can you ask your question?
Yeah, I have one question for Brado.
Go ahead.
Yes, my question to Brado is that since this disagreement with Mr. Kokamp for the audit, before they call someone from the UK to come to US and carry on the audit, why did Tabeyang don't insist that they need to look someone in the US and external person to come and do the audit? Because if SACO as the AP call for an auditor, an auditor cannot come out to audit you, and then you are the same person that we give out the report. For me, I don't see it reasonable. Tabeyang Brado is among the executive committee. I believe before all the auditor from the UK, he have insisted that no, we have auditors here in the US. Why should we spend more money fly someone from the UK to come and carry on audit in the US while there are auditors in the US. I know if auditor is coming to audit you and you call an auditor, it therefore means that there's a game you want the man to come and play for your favor. Tabeyang should rise up that moment and say, no, there will be no audit until we look for an auditor here in the US. This thing has caused a lot of chaos.
Thank you.
Everybody is just that some people have decided to be doomed and follow Sako. I know that Sako is a mafia because before I defended these agency guys, I defended Sako until some of my guys from the agency
and we give time for
on
Comrade
Facebook.
Tabeyang to answer the questions,
I
please.
knew they were right. I knew they were right because when this matter of my two people came out, please, and I listened to Tabeyang outing, I believe him.
Take him off the line for
I believe him. I saw truth in Tabeyang. I saw truth in Tabeyang, and from there I just start to see Sako and Anu like thieves. They call themselves pastor, but that are no pastor. They are robbers. How can you collect money and you are making mafia and you want to frame it to someone else? I hate thief and I hate injustice. I'm for justice. I don't believe belongs to any group. I support any positive move and I hate any negative move. So this thing has delayed this struggle. Has delayed. Though some people has brainwashed some people, and Chris will come down as a secretary. You see himself as a minister. We come and be fooling people.
Thank you very much, caller. We cannot give all the time to you alone, please. Thank you very much.
Can I come in?
Yeah, Secretary Brado, you can respond to the series of questions that you have.
I'm going to start with him. That the reason they brought the Dr. Komezoge from the UK is because Dr. Komezoge was part of the performance and evaluation in the cabinet. So internal audits were supposed to do like an evaluation was supposed to be done by him. So that is why he came. But after he came and did a very terrible job, I insisted for an external auditor, which they ridiculed the idea that I was trying to impose on the nature of the audit. And to go back to the other caller who talked about how do I make sure that we can facilitate a proper audit. What he has suggested is exactly what I proposed to Tabeyang in the UK, that there is no way that the IGK is going to do an audit that Ambazonians are going to believe that it is not biased. And there is no way that Sako they are going to do an audit that Ambazonians will believe that it is not biased. So the best thing to do, I gave them two options. Let's constitute a team from both sides to do the audit, or we can get an external auditor, which is something that they rejected. They rejected both options. The reason they rejected the idea that we should constitute a team of auditors from both the IGK and the defunct IG was because they did not want to recognize the IGK as an entity. That is the reason why they rejected the move. And then they turned around and said Brado refused the audit. And like I said in the beginning, if any one of them has information out there that I told them that I will not do the audit, because I heard Sako himself running his mouth saying that Sezekwa Yoktabe is the one who instructed us not to participate in the audit. I mean, my goodness, where do they concoct this level of buffoonery to the point where you think that somebody is sitting there in jail, he is the one that is remote controlling everyone out here? No, Brado is very, very independent. A lot of people might think that Brado is very stubborn. Yes, I am stubborn if it comes to sticking with the facts and sticking with the truth. I, for the sake of the revolution, indicated to them that to stop the noise making that we're having on social media, let them get a team of representatives from their side and get representative from Daphne's side, and even bring in the activists, so that when they are reporting that, they will report fairly, that this audit was not biased. That is something that they have rejected. And I will still tell Ambazonians that Brado is available anytime, any day, when they are ready. But none of them should sit there and tell Brado that, oh, the audit committee is still open. You don't call something that you know that is an ambush for me to go there and allow them cook the records. It's not going to happen. And I felt so bad when I saw somebody like Comrade Tasang even commenting about the audit and even telling people that Brado refused to go to the audit. Comrade Tasang, who is supposed to be like a senior elder, even if he had something like that, it was his place to talk to Brado and find out, Brado, what is going on. But Comrade Tasang will take information that has been fed to him by Chris Anu and try to indict Brado. That Brado is paying allegiance to Sesekwa Yotabe. Now, if anybody is in their right mind, if you say Brado was in the government and was paying allegiance to Sesekwa Yotabe, doesn't that tell you that the people who were there were not paying allegiance to their leader? They were not paying allegiance to their state and the leader? If the Sako folks are telling people out there that Brado was not in support of Sako, I don't know how Brado was not in support of Sako after everything that needed to be done was done. For them to go out now and tell the world that I was only supporting my tribal person and all of that, they don't even know that it was not even Seseko who recommended me to the governing council. It was Bo Herbert. But they try to flush these ideas around. They take the tribal tag and try to stick it to everyone. Those things, they're not going to fly with Brado. We will deal with the facts. It is the responsibility of Ambazonians to hold them to task. It is not Brado's duty. I have done what needed to be done to keep the records. And I keep reminding Ambazonians, every dime that came in, whether it was for MTTB, that got into a certain account that Brado has oversight. I'm not going to defer that maybe it was my subordinate or the treasurer. No, I saw what happened with that money. And I can present the records, who took what at any time. And if any of these individuals has any argument, we will go into the bank account. I don't think that the Bank of America or the TD Bank would falsify records because they don't know who they are dealing with. Those records are there. Now, it is easy for people to say, okay, maybe you could have gone raw. I'll be very honest. Given that Sako was going out and raising money, I felt along the way that, you know what, we can take some of the hit that is taken maybe for the rents and all of that stuff. But the money that was supposed to go to the self-defense that I have indicated with records, people keep saying that, oh, money did not go to defense and stuff like that. That is not true. There are individuals who took the money. I have indicated that close to $500 and something thousand went to defense. The individuals who took the money, I have the records. I can open the records. Everybody will see the records. They have to tell us, because I only knew that that money also did not get to the final destination when ASE indicated to me around December of 2018, because there was no complaint. A lot of people would look at it and say, oh, you said everything was going on. No. If you go to each department, they will tell you how stringent I was with disbursing money. I actually stopped giving money to ASC and John Egiawan because there were continuous complaints that these boys had no support. When I stopped doing that, that is when Sako came in and said, we would send the money through my office, and they are going to send the money directly to the boys on ground zero, and then they will inform their commanders here in the diaspora. So I was pretty much sure, because I knew that there was a trail. If they took the money and then they didn't send it, then ASA would have to complain that they didn't send the money. I did not hear those complaints until towards the end of the year. Then I'm saying that that cannot even be true when ASA said they received $175,000. My records are showing otherwise. You took this money. Johnny Giawan, about $165,000. Through Sebastian, about $375,000. they need to account that this money went to the ground. So if you're going to blame me or people are going to say you said they know, I knew that this money had gotten to the final destination. So I was just as completely blindsided as most of the people, because once the money was disbursed, I trailed that money from my account to the final account. If I don't hear people complaining, I'm not going to sit there and think that the money was not getting to ground zero. And I'm going to tell you people here that most of the requests that they put in, those requests did not even involve buying of materials. A lot of people are saying, let me just open one of those requests so that people should see. Do I have the sharing on?
Yes, comrade.
Okay, this is the pro forma invoice. This is what they put in. Everybody who took money from that government had to sign this form. And that's why I'm saying that you cannot go and say you don't know that you did not take money. You would have to sign this form and send it. I have all of this documented. If it is above $2,000, SACCO would have to sign it. So people should not say, when you come in and tell me a special mission for on me and they give you, it is hard for you to track this money because they indicated that, oh, they are dealing with black market. They're not going to tell you give receipts. It's a problem. But I'm saying that if you took money from here and you did not just fold that money and throw it to Nigeria or ground zero, you send that money, you should provide the people the details and the coordinates whom you send that money to. That will clarify most of this misrepresentation that you have out here, that actually they did not send money or anything like that. That is not difficult to do. So these questions about, okay, maybe you knew, when did I know that? That is part of the problem, because I was just as frustrated. To me, whatever SACCO spent for the little expenditures for the purchases for $100 and something thousand, is insignificant to the amount that was supposed to go to defense, that I have indicated that close to about $600,000 was earmarked, and nobody can account for it. But there are individuals that we know this money went through them. So they have a responsibility to address that situation. 100,000 went to Plan B to secure the supposed loan that was supposed to give us some money to assist the revolution. Now, we wired that money to the UK. I have people here who have met with the Plan B guy in the UK and even in South Africa to talk to these guys. But we are limited because immediately after they reconstituted the cabinet, SACCO wrote to hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Immediately after SACCO reconstituted the cabinet on May 1st, on the 4th, SACCO wrote to the guy, the Plan B guy. He said, please be informed that Mr. Tabeyang H.U. Brado is no longer a member of the cabinet of the interim government of Federal Republic of Ambazonia. We will provide you with the contact detail of our new Secretary of Economy and Finance. This letter is to officially inform you to communicate all matters relating to our contract with you. That's the group name, to the point of contact that is specified in the document, Reverend John Egiawan. Now, after that, the guy forwarded this information to me because the guy trusted me more than them. The guy had indicated that both SACCO and John Egiawan was about money. The guy forwarded this document to me. And even if finally after my investigation, I realized that the guy was bogus, there is nothing I can do with the guy because of this letter. And I was not a signatory to the contract. The only people who can go after this guy is John Egiawan, SACCO, and Elvis Cometa, who had signed the contract with this guy. So they should not sit there and think that we don't have access to this guy. This guy is in the UK. I've had people in the UK talk to this guy, and I have had people in South Africa meet with this guy. So 100,000 of that my trip to Boya is still sitting with this guy. Close to 600,000 went to defense. That's already 700,000. It was about 813,000 that came in for the entire my trip to Boya. When people keep saying that, oh, there's 2 million, there is 1 million, I'm going to be very honest. We use a third-party platform called Mobile Cost. And Mobile Cost, at any time of the day, they can request for records from Mobile Cost to authenticate the amount that came in through Mobile Cost. Now, the amounts that Sako and Iringwa went around the United States with the country coordinators and they collected, Brado cannot officially put the exact amount with exactitude that this is what they collected and this is what they deposited, because they never got me involved in all of those fundraising activities across both the US and Canada. I only saw what they deposited in the account, and I can only account what went into the account. And that's why I keep repeating, everything that went into that account, I should be held responsible that, okay, tell us, the money came in, how did the money go? And everybody who gave us a single dime, I gave them a letter of acknowledgement. I think Don Pasho, you can attest to that. The last time you gave me money, I sent you an acknowledgement letter to make sure that there is a trail. Every country that donated money to this interim government, I have them documented in the system that they gave money to this interim government. So they can go up, they can go down, they can go in circles. The records are there and they speak otherwise with the lies that they're telling. The question about John So, I think that we have really had a lot with John So. And I was the person who was the go-between John So and Sako. I was the same person, the go-between John So and Seseko. And I can tell you that it's unfortunate. I am not going to disrespect myself and disrespect him on national TV, but it is disappointing, a man of that caliber, to be that loose on unfathomable lies to the point where he doesn't blink when he's telling these lies. We were so concerned, even with Sako himself, we were so scared because of his public persona not to attack him the way he was spending the money that was given to him. He actually put us at loggerheads with the South African friends of Seseko in South Africa, who were also raising money for that effort to try to scam both them and us. It was just unfortunate. Even the lawyer of the person who was advising Sako, lawyer Mbeshea, is in Pennsylvania, said Nso was a scam, that we should not give Nso money anymore. But a lot of Ambazonians will say, oh, you people just give money a lot. No. In that context, you are desperately thinking that they were going to resolve this situation with the leaders. There is nothing that I could not have done if it was going towards taking these leaders out, because the level of toxicity that was already in the revolution, it needed us to get back our leaders to make sure that we focus the revolution. So it's easy for people to say, oh, maybe you just sat there and okay, you didn't do nothing. No, I tried to solve some of this problem. I shut down even this SCBC. A lot of people don't even know that I was the one who, from I think the first 2 months of 2018, I am the one who refused paying the bills of SCBC because I indicated that I need to see the contract. And that is how SCBC ended up providing the contract to Sako. And I was stunned. Once Sako indicated that they have provided the contract, we went ahead and were paying the bills. So I was stunned for Sako to turn around, Chris Anu to lie that they have not provided the contract, to the point where even the SCBC folks forwarded the email to me to confirm that, yes, this information was sent to Sako. So it's not like something that Brado just sat there and was seeing all of these things and was doing nothing. I can tell the Ambazonians that I was very diligent and I was very, very strict. But given the state of the revolution and the going, it is very difficult for you to say you're going to trail, particularly the money that was going to ground 1 and ground 0. That is where we have a lot of the problems.
Okay, thank you. very much, Comrade Brado. I believe, fellow Ambazonians, fellow viewers, I believe you guys have listened to Comrade Brado. We will receive last 3 sets of questions, and then we will end the program for tonight.
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, hello, caller. Are you getting me?
Can I ask my question?
Yes. And where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Yes, sir. You can go ahead. Ask your question.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, please. My question to Tabeyang is, let him tell us, the people, if they have actually paid the taxes for Ambazonian Consulting and Ambazonian Foundation. We want to know if they have paid the taxes, and if they have not paid the taxes, what are the implications going forward vis-a-vis the U.S. government? Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Yeah, hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello.
Let's come in.
Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, caller.
Yes, the Lord Jesus blesses you all, Brother Pascal and Brother Brado. This is Brother Cho Ransom of the Lord Jesus. Thank you so much. Thank you for the program of today. I would like to come back on the real issue about the fraud or the attempted fraud. Because the issues of the US concerning IRS, you don't laugh about it. Actually, during the times of the APNC, we had contacted the people of APNC and telling them that if they knew that everything was done, which were not in compliance with the laws of the United States, they must report themselves. Now you have already spoken out in public. It means that even if there is a case of suspicion, you people are supposed to report to IRS for all non-profit organizations. It is a must. For all of you, you will be locked, you will be jailed even before being released. So you guys, you have shown the facts. They have done something which is not according to the law, putting up board members which were not the original board members, never informing them. So that's fraud. So I can easily give you people the contacts of IRS for you people to fill the form 13909 for any tax exempt organization complaint referral form. Is a tax exempt organization complaint referral form 13909, which you will mail to IRS. The email is eoclass@irs.gov.
Brother Cho Ransom,
you must do it before you leave your office.
Comrade Brother Cho Ransom, can I intervene? Please, you can contact SCBC through the line that you just used to call. You can message them all the information that you want to give on air, and it will be related to Comrade Brado, and he will do just that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Just a quick response to him. Comrade Cho, I know all about that. I'm an accountant, and I do filings with the IRS. I know all of that. But this decision is going to be an Ambazonian decision, not Brado's Tabeyang's decision.
Comrade Brado, we have a caller. Hello, caller. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, hello. I am ringing from Europe, and I just have a few questions to ask, and I'll get my answer off the air. So these are my questions. I will be really quick and short. I welcome what you are doing today, and I really appreciate your show, and I appreciate the guest that has come today for this show. I do appreciate it's now been made known to our people that there have been fraud in our revolution. This is confirmation, and this goes out to all those people who rant on social media and they keep on talking and defending people when they don't have facts. I think that these are allegations that have been put towards someone who claims to be a leader, and from what they have presented, the whole of Amazonia today are evidence to tell our people that this person has been a fraudster. I will just name the allegations that have been put towards this leader. I don't want to call his name, but he knows who he is, and we all know who he is. He's been engaged in fraud. He's been engaged in faking addresses. He's been engaged in fixing figures. He's been engaged in forging documents. And these are allegations that it cannot sit in the hands of people. And we have people who are dying in their numbers. And we have people that are sat on this information. So I would like to request this, and I think maybe it's something that maybe everybody will want to request. We'd like to have some sort of a publication. We know this government glamours itself in publishing all sorts of PDF documents all over the place. So we are pleading with your guest, if he can actually provide some of these allegations so that it can be made to our people, available to our people, that they go around supporting someone who has been engaged totally in fraud. So there's nothing which all these allegations can stand for. Apart, we can say this man has been a fraudster from the beginning. It was said, when you let a slave to rule a country, this is what is in the Bible. Solomon said this: woe to that nation that you get a slave to be your king, because that is your demise. And this is what we're experiencing, and this is what is killing our people. So I plead on behalf of my people who are dying and all those who are suffering in refugee camps. Recently, we saw flyers of people who don't have food to eat. We are now learning of a leader who has been engaged in fixing figures, using money, purchasing personal products or personal stuff. Your guest has confirmed that some of these things were coming to his address and he could not actually even condole with what was being purchased. And we have people dying. I think this should be a cause of remorse for everybody, that this person must be brought to book. Well, we all have listened to this conversation today, and everything has been recorded. If those in power and those who have these documents don't want to bring this up, then they also will be classed as accomplices to fraud. So I plead with your guests today that it is time for us to put these records straight. Let's shame those who need to be shamed and glorify those who need to be glorified, so that we can bring some sort of sanity to this chaos that we've created. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Kola. Thank you very, very much. Hello, Kola.
Hello. My name is Tabeyang. I'm calling from Ireland. I just have two questions to ask. Before I ask a question, I'd like to talk about the 4 points of Sekou Ayok Tabe. Some people said that Ayok Tabe cannot negotiate in jail, and others said that the negotiation cannot go into the La Republique, that Sekou is being negotiated with the Republic to end up the how can I say that
If you don't shift away from your receiver, you'll be talking and hearing back yourself. Can you shift away from your receiver? Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Hello? Hello, caller? Oh. Your lines are poor. You have poor lines. Who am I talking to? Yeah, hello, caller?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, caller. Who am I talking to, please?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you
Who
hear
is
me, sir?
talking and where are you calling from? I'm getting you 5 on 5.
Can you hear me?
5 on 5, sir.
Ah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I am hearing you 5 on 5, sir. Check your receiver.
Hello, yeah, you are talking to him I'm out of my receiver. So can you get me now where?
I am getting you. Are you getting me? I'm getting you 5 on 5. If you don't shift away from your receiver, you will not be able.
I just want to talk about the 4 points of Ayuk Tabe that he gave it up from the public, like
Shift away from your receiver, caller. Shift away from your receiver. I will plead with everybody that is calling, please, when you are calling, you shift away from your TV set, from your laptop, from your iPad that you are listening to the program
SCBC.
with. Because if you don't shift away from those things, you will not be able to get me. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you getting me?
Yes, you people have called back Brother Chorans of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Sorry. The technician would not be back. Sorry.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yes, are you
Hello?
getting me? Are you getting me now?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name and where
I'm
you're
getting
calling
you.
from. Your name and where you're calling from, please. You have a noise, background noise. Your name and where you're calling from,
Please,
please.
I have a question for. Please, I want to just place this question to Tabeyang Brado. That for this while I've been listening to him and everything seems to be perfect, but I've come to realize that whatever is going on is due to poor coordination and frame up from his own part, because the information I've been getting is from the pics, and now he has aired his mind. And I just want to pose this very question to him. Mr. Tabeyang Brado, as you are aware, Eric Tato has already filed a case against the pigs and is under investigation by the FBI. If it happens today, you are being called up in any court in the United States of America to testify against these people, will you be able and be just to stand and advocate for the people of Ambazonia? That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. We are going to take one last call and then we close the lines for tonight. If not, I will plead with the technical department. Okay. Okay, I will plead with the technical department to close the lines for tonight, and I will ask Comrade Brado Tabeyang, the Secretary for Finance and Economy, to answer the questions. Thank you very much, Comrade Tabeyang, for your patience and your time to talk to your people.
Thank you, Comrade Don Pasho. And I am very appreciative of the very pertinent questions and concerns that our people do have. I have indicated from the beginning that I would make myself available to anything that would work towards the resolution of the problems that we have in back home. If it means me providing documentation, definitely. Even if I don't want to, they have a right to subpoena me, given the fact that I have the records. And I don't see the reason why I should refuse to provide the records. Those records are not my records. They are state property. So if it is the desire of the Ambazonian people, I will do what the people want. There was a question about taxes. As a 501c, I think you can go for 3 years without filing. I don't know whether they have done that yet. For the consulting, what a lot of people don't know, that the money that Sako took, he was supposed to file taxes, because whatever money that he spent on that he is, because whatever amount of money for the $120,000 that it is showing on the record that he spent, he was supposed to file taxes with that money. So there are a lot of things that they run around that they don't even know, and it is painful. It is really, really pernicious for you to see how he will sit quiet and allow our people to be misled by some of the smears and the sabotage that they put out there on a daily basis. A lot of the things that they put out, he knows that they are not true, because he's actually aware of the facts. These things are not things that I'm going to say that he didn't know that they happen, or he doesn't know that this is what needs to be done. He knows. And some of them he is carefully choreographing them from the background. Because sometimes when I hear information in the public domain that the only person who is supposed to know that information is Sako, how do I explain it? Where did this information came out? Because you are feeding the information to your supposed talking heads on the various platforms that we have in the revolution now, for people to go out there and put out lies that you would sit back and think that maybe something is wrong with you, because it is hard to understand some of the lies that they're putting out there, and he knows the truth. He knows the truth. That I read Senior Comrade Tasang trying to say that Sesekwa Yoktabe is the one who fabricated lies about my trip to Boya to try to give Sako a bad name, or Doc a bad name to hang it. Oh my goodness. Sako himself provided the information to Sesekwa Yoktabe, and somehow they turned around and they said, oh, it was Brado. I actually refused providing information to the president when they took them out of set, because I knew that information might disturb him a lot, and I said, no, we're not going to do it. It is Sako who provided all the necessary information that the president requested to the president. He even made audios. I don't know if Comrade Tassan sits in there in that jail and be wondering that, what if Sissoko provide the audios that Sako provided to him in the early days, that they try to now set it up like Sako is some kind of a saint. I mean, nothing against him, but when you know that people are not telling the truth of what you knew happened, it is your responsibility as a leader to step up and tell them, guys, what you are doing is inappropriate. It's unacceptable. I saw a video yesterday that some other one they call is that Tanchor or Nanchot, they call him. Somehow he is an authority now that speaks complete buffoonery. That you go on TV and you lie that Sesekwa Yoktabe is the one who appointed Nick Santos as his minister. When everyone in this revolution knows that Sako is the one who brought Nick Santos as his spokesperson. And the reason he brought Nick Santos in as his spokesperson, it was because he was afraid of Chris Anu. Because Chris Anu is the only one who contested to become the acting president. When Chris Anu lost and Sako won, Sako was scared that Chris Anu was not going to listen to him. So he brought in Nick Santos to be the spokesperson at the presidency. We had that conversation in my office. When Nick Santos was an embarrassment to the public and there was outcry in the DMV, that's when he moved Nick Santos and appointed him under Secretary of Health. For somebody to go on TV and lie that it was Ayoktabe who appointed Nick Santos and Sako, you know the truth and sit quiet. And these people, they go around calling themselves that they are men of God. It is sickening, to say the least, that even up to somebody like Patterson would believe and take the lie, hook, line, and sinker. That's Sako is telling the truth. Even to make an effort to say, okay, let me verify from the other source whether this information that they are providing to me about my trip to Boya, about even the bonds. Sako goes out and claims that the bonds were his project. But Comrade Tasang is telling the world that the bonds are a scam project for Sesekwa Yoktabe. This is just terrible. How do we solve some of the lying? The lying is sickening. I have challenged them. Any one of them, even the auditors, all of them, they want me to appear on their ABC TV. I am ready to challenge all of them because the facts don't lie. The facts would not lie. Uchiba had called me that I should appear in his program. They were going to talk to me. They back out because they have been telling the people unwarranted and unproven falsehoods. And people just sit and we're clapping. Everything is okay. Why would you lie for a man that is already condemned? And you have no pity, no feeling. I will go around and will say, oh, we are in a struggle, and these people are this, and these people are that. So I am going to make myself available to Ambazonians. These records are not my records. It is not my decision. Whatever the Ambazonian people decide to do with their records, my responsibility ended by putting those records together. And I said, I am not going to go back and say, okay, it was my subordinates, the people I supervised. I would take the responsibility. If anything, if any amount of money that I cannot account for in those records, I will take responsibility and I will make myself responsible to pay back those monies to Ambazonians. That is just the truth. Brado is not scared of anything. Brado has never refused to participate in an audit. I want this message to go out to the people. Tabeyang had never, contrary to the lies that they put out there, that Brado refused an audit. Brado clearly gave them two options. Either we do a combined audit so that Ambazonian will trust the results, or we go for an independent audit. That's what I told them. And an independent audit doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go pay somebody. You can get Ambazonians who are not part of this struggle, who are not actively involved in any of the camps, to do an audit. These are basics, just income and expenditure. It's not like it is a big organization where you're going to say it's going to take you forever to do that. Why are they adamant? If they are ready, I am ready. Anytime they want to wake me up tomorrow to start it, I am ready. The records are there. You get somebody who came in and did a poorly done audit, and then you take it and you ask another group of people to review that audit. Professionally, why would I refuse and review an audit that I know that audit was improperly done? So they should stop telling people lies out there that Brado did not do this. I think it's delusional for some of them to even think that I am the one who stymied the audit process. No, I was ready to facilitate the audit process. If I did anything wrong, if I refused the audit, when he came here, he should have reported to the Amazonian people that even though they paid my transport and I came over here, Brado still refused providing me documents. I hear some people floating out there that, oh, Brado refused to give this annual, the line one for that matter, telling people out there that he refused to give the QuickBooks. The QuickBooks is where all the money is. QuickBooks is an accounting platform. It's not where they put money, for goodness sake. How do you go over the TV and make yourself that dumb? QuickBooks is an accounting software. It's not where they put money. It's just records. It's what you put in that you're going to get out. So if the information that Brado put in is the same information that is going to come out of QuickBooks, QuickBooks does not manufacture information. And you have some of the sycophants out there celebrating. Oh, Brado refused to give QuickBooks. So I am ready. And there's a lot of information that we cannot provide during an interview like this, because you would see the records are there. Nobody should say that, oh, they sat on top of the record, they didn't provide the records. No, it is not my responsibility to provide it. Before I do an interview like this, I have sought permission from the leadership to do this information. If not, I will not. If it is my private company, I can do whatever I want with it. But this is not a private business. So people should not take that responsibility and say, oh, it is Brado who is holding back. No. Every time that the people are ready, Brado is ready.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Comrade Tabeyang Brado. Your last statement was, or is, when the people are ready, you are ready. Fellow Ambazonians, it is now left in your hands. It is now left in the hands of the people of Ambazonia to decide if they will push for an external audit, or they will sit and cry and lament and continue with the blame games. On this program, like we know, it is for each and every leader, everybody that holds a position of interest, every activist to come up and clear the air or be held responsible or accountable for whatever they are doing in our revolution. I will give Comrade Tabeyang Brado the last statement for him to talk to our people for like 2 minutes before I give the concluding words. Comrade Tabeyang, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Comrade Don Pacho, and thank you, fellow Ambazonians. My heart goes to our suffering masses, both on ground zero and on ground one. My heart goes to our leadership. I do understand that we have our internal differences, but it doesn't make any sense for us to turn our anger against one another. I just wanted a fair process. I wanted to make sure that Ambazonians know what is going on. I would apologize to Ambazonians if what was expected of me was not done, but I think I did my best under those circumstances. I did that with a mind that the struggle was a struggle for our suffering masses. Sometimes a lot of the things that they put on social media, I do not read them. I do not even listen to some of the audios, because it's getting really frustrating for us to continue to try to undermine and ridicule one another. The lies, the conspiracies, the things that people try to jumble up together that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes you begin to wonder whether we are cursed, but personally, I strongly believe that these are obstacles that every revolution has to encounter. Sometimes we might really get angry to say, hey, we're going to take this action, but you have to weigh the consequences of those actions with the overall direction of the revolution. How is it going to impact the revolution? These are some of the things that guided my decision making. Do I initiate an action that could undermine the revolution in the long run? Is this something that the people can manage? So I think I am going to plead with the people that, irrespective of the empty noise that people are floating out there, that the president is compromised, the president is working with La République, I can attest that responsible authorities had left Cameroon and flew over here and spoken to me to plead with the president to change his stance. And the president has been rock solid in sticking to the position that every Ambazonian knows, that it is either going to be our independence or resistance forever. So people should not waste their time. You would know the ability of a leader who is very restrained, who is meticulous, who would not go out there and try to insult or undermine the other leadership of the struggle. So the president remains fervent and strong and focused as far as Ambazonians will remain behind him. So I'm going to pray and plead with Ambazonians that the only way we're going to succeed is to commit to the revolution. A lot of the funding for the revolution has come in through donations, but we are in, I think, the 4th year of the revolution, and we are not going to continue to fund the revolution through donations. So I personally, I would want to echo what Dr. Yaba said the other day. The revolution should be funded by commitments. Ambazonians should know that there are already institutions in place that are going to safeguard their money. I can tell you, since this cabinet was reconstituted, Brado has really not dealt with money. I took myself out and decided that let the bank and the transitional treasury that we had to deal with some of those issues. But we should be mindful that the interim government took some time for things to normal. There are programs. I think there is a 12-month plan that we would be putting out to give Ambazonians a sense of direction on where we intend to be within the next 12 months. I think the policy of us thinking that each county or LGA will be able to liberate themselves, that would just be a complete joke, because it's not going to happen. And we are not going to continue to prosecute this war, going round and round in circles every year without any movement. I think we have a responsibility to address the security situation, the insecurity on the ground. That is coming from mostly the agents of La République that have been planted within some of our restoration forces. I think the interim government has a responsibility to address that, and assure the people that this ransom taking, this intimidation, these kidnappings have to stop. How do we do that? The only way we're going to do that is to ask the people to recommit with the same intensity that they had when this revolution started. We are going to call on the people that go in and buy your bonds. The Bank of Ambazonia that is running the bonds program is the People's Bank. You have your responsibility and your representatives in the board of governors of that bank. You can go to ambabondholders.com and open an account. You can open an account with $1, or you can even open an account without paying anything. And you can begin to do monthly reoccurring payments in buying your bonds. I'm also going to call on the people that we need to fund the People's TV, that is SCBC. I think you can see the account information that is running below the program. Please recommit. Your monies would be carefully taken care of. I am praying that responsible individuals from most of the stakeholders are sitting in that board. Do not assume, and let no one tell you that it is a Brado's thing. No, Brado conceptualized the idea, and credible Ambazonians have taken it over, and they are doing a fabulous job. When they call in their quarterly meetings to present the reports, please make an effort to attend. You will get a lot of the information on what they are doing with their money. So it completely takes away any obstacles by whosoever is leading the interim government from not providing reports to the people. That does not in any way negate the fact that the interim government also has a responsibility to provide reports to our people. But the bank is there. The bank is there as a fallback structure or entity to make sure that Ambazonians can always compare the reports that are coming from the bank and the reports that are coming from the government to make sure that their finances are properly taken care of. So I am very, very grateful for the opportunity. I think somebody had asked about my observation with Eric Tato. I think Eric Tato is doing a fabulous job. I mean, he did not spare me. He attacked my person and integrity that I was part of the scam. But when you know that the facts are on your side, there is no reason for you to really worry much about the information that is being circulated out there. I have sat quiet for a year just to sit back and allow some of the foolishness, some of the ignorance that people are putting out there about my person. It doesn't disturb me. Some of them said I opened a company in Nigeria. I have not been to Nigeria for the past 23 years. And when you ask where exactly did he open that company, what is the name of the company? Nobody knows about it. Some of them said, I am a painter. I don't see you going to one of the topmost business school here in the state to go study painting. But it is a revolution. So you don't allow those things get under your skin. The thing that I'm going to plead, we should not forget our suffering masses. For some of us who see these pictures that are coming from some of these refugee camps and some of these injured young men in ground zero, it is heart-wrenching for us to see. And you want somebody to remind you that please do a commitment. I don't think that the revolution is in a place where they still have to come and remind you that please make a donation. You should know that it is your responsibility. So Don Pasho, thank you. I'm happy SCBC is flushing the Bank of Ambazonia and the bonds. Please go to www.ambabondholders.com and make sure to buy your bonds, that you would be given the proper accounting of whatever that money house, we call it Ambazonian Jangi house, whatever is going to come in from there. I'll definitely subsequently be coming sometimes, maybe next month, to present the some of the activities that we're doing within the Department of Economy and Finance, and maybe the government plan that they might delegate for me to do that. So Don Pasho, thank you and good job.
Thank you very, very much, Secretary Brado. We, the people of Ambazonia, we call ourselves the public court. We are grateful for you coming up to answer to our questions. We are grateful for you accepting to come to this program, The Hot Seat. Fellow viewers, fellow Southern Cameroonians, this program, as we all know, it's The Hot Seat. We bring up everybody, no matter your affiliations, no matter your group, no matter what group you support. We, the people, we bring you up for you to speak to your people. I am working for the people, and I believe that we need to fund the revolution. SCBC is our channel. SCBC is the channel of the people of Southern Cameroon. We need you to fund SCBC for us to be able to keep SCBC on satellite for our people on ground zero to get these truths, to get these facts, because they need to get this for them to be able to know what is happening in their revolution. I will plead with you all to support SCBC at support.scbctv.com. That is their PayPal. The second PayPal is payments@scbctv.com. Please make your payments to these PayPal addresses, and we are going to be grateful, and we will tell you SCBC is your TV. This Wednesday on the program, Setting the Record Straight, we are going to be having as guests on that program Comrade Eritato and the Comrade Jibans. We are going to have them this Wednesday. Keep your telephones by your side, because they are going to speak to you and you guys are going to ask them most of your pertinent questions. Once again, this is the Hot Seat. You can follow us on Twitter at scbc.com. You can follow us on Facebook, SCBC, and you can follow us on every social media platform. This is the Hot Seat. I am your humble servant, Don Pasho, and I was with the Secretary for Economy and Finance today, Comrade Tabeyang Brado. Once again, till we meet another Monday, this is Don Pasho signing out for the Hot Seat on SCBC. Ciao.